From the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, it's time for Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl, Junior Edition.
Hello and welcome to the Collins Aerospace Studio here at the Nordloff Center. I'm Greg Peterson and this is Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl, Junior Edition. Let's meet our teams. This is the 5th season that the Winnebago Indians have played State Line Quiz Bowl Juniors. Last year, the Indians made it to the Final Four. Well, let's meet this year's team. Eden, you're the captain. Why don't you go ahead and introduce everyone?
My name is Eden. To my left is Lily. To my near right is Cole. And to my far right is Andrew.
Welcome. And on the other side, well, in the first round, River Ridge put up a very impressive 270, but they're not here right now because St. Rita still managed to beat them by 80 points. Very impressive showing, and particularly Wyland, if I remember correctly, you got all 3 of the first 3 questions. Let's meet you and your team again.
To my right is Carlo, to my left is Gage, and to my far left is Laura.
Welcome. Let's go ahead and get started. We start with the buzzer round, individual questions. As we know, it is brought to you by Rockford University. 10 points for each right answer. Good luck, both teams. Let's roll. Name the novel in which Mr. Jones is chased off the title property during the Battle of the Cowshed by Boxer the horse and an army of sheep led by Snowball the pig. It was written by George Orwell. That is Cole.
Animal Farm?
Is right. Next question. What force, the weakest of the 4 fundamental forces, was legendarily explained by Isaac Newton after Carlo.
Gravity.
Is correct. What adjective describes the y-coordinate of any point in the first 2 quadrants, as well as numbers like 6, but not, Eden?
Positive.
Is right. What brand sponsored a December 2024 Collegiate Bowl game that ended Iowa State 42, Miami 41, but more importantly featured a cinnamon roll flavored edible mascot being lowered into a giant toaster oven? Cole?
Cinnabon?
Nope. Chance for Carlo?
Pop-Tart.
That was Pop-Tart. What U.S. state was founded by Roger Williams, dropped the phrase "and Providence Plantations" from its official name in 2020, and is the smallest U.S. state? Carlo?
Rhode Island.
Good speed there, that's 10. What game series, whose Battle Royale game Warzone came out in, that's Carlo?
Call of Duty.
Is correct. What nonviolent activist founded the ashram Tolstoy Farm in South Africa and led a salt march against British rule in 1930 in India? That's Cole.
Gandhi.
Is right. What cell organelle is the site of the electron transport chain and ATP production and is therefore known as the powerhouse of the cell? Cole.
Mitochondria.
Good speed, 10. What mountain range, which includes Monte Rosa, Mont Blanc, and the Matterhorn, passes through countries like France, Switzerland, and Italy? Carlo?
The Alps.
The Alps. What novel follows the Bolkonsky and Rostov families during and after Napoleon's invasion of Russia? It's an extremely long novel written by Leo Tolstoy. Carlo?
War and Peace.
Is right. What president, whom Emanuel Leutze depicted crossing the Delaware River, chops... Eden?
Washington.
Is right. A texture triangle describes the composition of what mixture of nutrients, water, and dirt that's necessary for the growth of plants? Wyland?
Silt.
No. Eden?
Soil.
Soil. Another one of those words where the technical definition might be harder. This Greek god was accompanied by the gods Phobos and Deimos, who represented fear and panic, when he led troops on the battlefield as Eden.
Aries.
Is right. Nice job. What U.S. city, whose suburbs include King of Prussia, Villanova, and across the river in New Jersey, Camden, is the most... Eden?
New York.
Nope, sorry. Is the most populous city in eastern Pennsylvania? Wyland?
Philadelphia.
Is right. Name the composer who performed with his sister Nan Earl as a child prodigy, and who wrote Eine kleine Nacht music and the operas Don Giovanni and the Magic Flute as an adult. Wyland.
Beethoven.
Incorrect. Winnebago with Eden
Mozart.
is right. What literary term from the Greek for to struggle against describes characters like Javert in Les Miserables and Lucifer in Paradise Lost? It describes the enemy of the protagonist. Carlo.
Antagonist.
Antagonist is right. And that is the round, and what a round it was. It is 80-80 right now. So we're going to have some collaboration and some volleyball questions, but we're going to have that after this. And welcome back to a tie game here at Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl Junior. We've got the volleyball round coming up, but before we get there, I'd like to thank our judge today. It's Tim Anderson, an associate professor of philosophy at Kishwaukee College. Tim, thank you for your help today. He's been keeping us online and making sure that everything is completely by the books. It's also completely tied. We've got the volleyball round here. Captains, you know that the answers need to come from you. You know that you're going to collaborate with your teammates, but you've only got 5 seconds to get me an answer. And you probably know, but if you don't, then I'll just say it again. St. Rita's going first. Got 3 minutes on the clock. Here we go, St. Rita. What continent near where McMurdo Station can be found on Ross Island is home to the grave of Robert Falcon Scott, who froze to death on his way back from the South Pole?
Antarctica.
A little louder.
Antarctica.
Is right. Winnebago, what speech hopes the speaker's children will be judged by the content of their character instead of by the color of their skin, as given by Martin Luther King Jr.?
The I Have a Dream speech.
Yes. St. Rita, what author who wrote, "In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart," addressed her Diary of a Young Girl to Kitty while hiding from the Nazis?
The Diary of Anne Frank.
Yeah, Anne Frank specifically, but that works too. Winnebago, the virus HIV and the syndrome AIDS are named for their effect on what bodily system that responds to pathogens and protects the body from disease?
The immune system.
Yes. St. Rita, Antonio Stradivari was a 17th and 18th century maker of high-quality string instruments, particularly what instruments that are featured in the Vivaldi concertos, The Four Seasons?
Violin.
Even if you weren't sure, that's right. Winnebago, what Egyptian god became the ruler of the dead when his dismembered body was brought back to life by his wife, Isis?
Anubis.
No, sorry, that one's Osiris. St. Rita, Chris Sanders voices what character in an animated 2002 film and an upcoming live-action version, who is a blue alien friend of Lilo? Or Lilo.
Lilo and Stitch.
Yes. Winnebago, name the George Orwell novel in which Winston Smith is betrayed by O'Brien, a member of the Thought Police, and is tortured into compliance in Room 101. That's time. That's 1984. St. Rita, gallium is often used as a replacement for what liquid metal inside thermometers? This element has atomic symbol Hg.
Mercury.
Yes. Winnebago, what algebraic property, which isn't generally true for subtraction or division, explains that A plus B is the same thing as B plus A?
The distributive property.
Worth a shot. It's the commutative property. St. Rita, biological warfare in Jaffa may have triggered what pandemic, spread by fleas, that killed a staggering percentage of 14th century Europeans?
The Black Death.
Yes. Winnebago, what novel in which lethal injections are dubbed releases details the receiver of memories, Jonas, escaping the community? It was written by Lois Lowry.
Catcher of the Rye.
It's called The Giver. St. Rita, the Leonids and Perseids are examples of what kind of astronomical event that takes place when the Earth passes through a rocky debris trail in space?
Meteor showers.
That's right. And that's the end of the round. So, going into our bonus question for pizza, it's going to be St. Rita 150 and Winnebago 100 even. We'll see you in a moment.
Which American city is home to Quincy Market and baseball's Red Sox?
And welcome back. We've got a tight game with a lot of points being scored. It is time to stop scoring points and attempt to win a pizza and pasta party, because it's time for the Bergstrom bonus question, sponsored by Salamone's Italian Restaurant. One question on the buzzer, pizza and pasta if you win. We ready? Let's go. Which American city is home to Quincy Market, Faneuil Hall, and baseball's Red Sox? That is Cole.
Boston.
Is right. So that is a pizza and pasta party from Salamone's headed Winnebago's way. We'll be right back with the lightning round after this. And welcome back to today's lightning round, which is powered by IBEW NECA. We've got a 50-point lead for St. Rita right now, but there's 100 points at stake in each of these lightning rounds. In Winnebago, you're going to have the first pick. So the three categories you're picking between are modern warfare, parentheses, not the video game, mythical figures in art, or marvelous superhero identities.
I think we gotta do the mythical. I think we need to do the mythical. No, the superheroes. How do you make mythicals? So, we'll do the superheroes.
Cool. That Marvel there, that is Marvel happening. Given their real name and a description, I need you to name me the Marvel superhero. 10 questions. A minute to do them. St. Rita, be paying attention because you'll have 30 seconds to clean up anything they leave. Here we go. Peter Parker, a teenaged web slinger.
Spider-Man.
Yes. Tony Stark, a wealthy inventor.
Iron Man.
Yes. Bruce Banner, who turns green when enraged.
Hulk.
Yes. Steve Rogers, a patriotic World War II.
Captain America.
Yes. T'Challa, ruler of Wakanda.
Black Panther.
Yes. Jane Foster, scientist girlfriend of a thunder god.
Skip.
Okay. Natasha Romanoff, a former Hydra assassin.
Wanda.
No. Clint Barton, purple costumed archer.
Hawkeye.
Yes. Carol Danvers, owner of the alien cat Goose.
Captain Marvel.
Yes. Peter Quill, intergalactic bounty hunter.
Star-Lord.
Yes. Jane Foster, scientist girlfriend of a thunder god.
Thor.
Prompt.
Female Thor.
I don't think I can prompt you on that again. Sorry, no. But you got 8 of those right, so nice job. So St. Rita, the last 2 are coming your way. You do have 30 seconds. And again, I'm going to name the real name and a description. I need you to name the Marvel superhero for me, beginning with Jane Foster, scientist girlfriend of a thunder god.
Lady Thor.
No. Natasha Romanoff, former Hydra assassin.
Black Widow.
Is correct. So you picked up one of the two. It's the mighty Thor for when Jane Foster is doing superhero stuff. So that is 80 points that way, 10 points this way. But now, St. Rita, you're going to have your pick of lightning rounds. And again, your choices are modern warfare, not the video game, and mythical figures in art.
Modern warfare.
Okay. Given a description of a country's not so peaceful deeds in the 20th or 21st century, name the modern day country. Winnebago, you know anything they leave behind's coming your way? Here we go. Invaded by Russia in February 2022, threatening its city of Kyiv.
Ukraine.
Yes. Was a divided Southeast Asian country until the end of a 1970s war.
Vietnam.
Yes. Tested nuclear weapons under Kim Jong-un, threatening its southern neighbor.
North Korea.
Yes. Fought Argentina for the Falkland Islands under Margaret Thatcher.
UK.
Yes. Lost 2 Gulf Wars under Saddam Hussein.
Iraq.
Yes. Invaded by the U.S. in 2001, ousting the Taliban.
Afghanistan.
Yes. Under Indira Gandhi, conducted the Smiling Buddha nuclear test.
India.
Yes. Took the Suez Canal and Sinai Peninsula from Israel in the Yom Kippur War.
Egypt.
Yes. Bashar al-Assad fled in 2024, ending a civil war in the Middle East.
Iran.
No. Invaded in 2021 by the M23 movement, which is backed by Rwanda to the east. And that's out of time there, but you also just got 8 of those right. Winnebago, the last 2 are coming your way. Again, given a description of a country's not so peaceful deeds in the 20th or 21st century, name the modern day country. 30 seconds. Bashar al-Assad fled in 2024, ending a civil war in the Middle East.
Iran.
No. Invaded in 2021 by the M23 movement, which is backed by Rwanda to the east.
South Africa.
No. And that's the 2, so we're done guessing. Bashar al-Assad was in charge of Syria until he very much wasn't. And the M23 movement is currently active in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the DRC. So tough finish on that one, but it's 80 and then nothing on that one. So going into our final round here, we've got St. Rita 240 and Winnebago 180. We got a great game, folks. See you in a moment. Welcome back. We've got a 60-point game right now, and it's time for the final challenge, which is brought to you by Mercy Health. Now, in this final challenge, we're on the buzzer. We're back to individual questions, but they're going to be worth 20 points apiece, which means that it's a 3-question game right now. Anything can happen. Let's see if it will. Question 1. What country whose creation story centers on Izanami and Izanagi is the center of a religion whose kami include the sun goddess Amaterasu? That's Gage.
Japan.
Is right. What mountain range is where trail hikers go from Mount Katahdin to Springer Mountain, a walk of over 2,100 miles from Georgia to Maine along its Eden?
Appalachian.
Is right. Next question. Nick Adams is a recurring character in what author's stories? Another of which depicts the unlucky fisher Santiago and is called The Old Man in the Sea. That's In Time, Eden.
Moby Dick.
Nope. And that means that St. Rita, if you want to, you can. But you don't want to. That's Ernest Hemingway. Next question. What Tennessee politician wore a coonskin cap when he went to Texas in Eden?
Roosevelt.
No, sorry. Carlo.
Davy Crockett.
Is right. The Saffir-Simpson scale is used to classify what weather phenomenon? This phenomenon's highest rating, category 5, Eden.
The seismic system.
No, sorry. Wyland?
Hurricane.
Hurricanes, yes. What city, the home of a baseball team which plays at American Family Field? Wyland?
The Milwaukee Brewers.
I can take the Bucks or the Brewers because I was about to give you basketball stuff. 20 points, nice job. What French artist who painted Impression Sunrise depicted his Giverny garden with a green, Japanese-inspired bridge and hazy water lilies? Cole.
Monet.
Is right. What author who depicted himself chased by a leopard, a lion, and a she-wolf in one work is guided by Virgil in the Inferno section of his Divine Comedy? That's time. That's Dante Alighieri. What country controls the Dodecanese, a series of dozens of small islands in the Aegean Sea that are actually much closer to Turkey than they are to this country's, Carlo?
Greece.
Is right. I was about to say this country's capital of Athens. What type of angle gives a positive number for all 6 trigonometric functions and has an angle measure between 0 and 90 degrees? That is Cole.
Acute.
Is right. What empire, whose noble leaders included Axel Oxenstierna during the 30 Years' War, was led in the Great Northern War by King Charles XII until he was killed while besieging a Norwegian fortress? That is time. Next door to Norway, that one's the Kingdom of Sweden. But that is the game. St. Rita 340, Winnebago 240. Great game, both teams. Not much to say there, except it was very high caliber of play on both sides. St. Rita, that is a very, very good team that you just beat by 100. In Winnebago, you played extremely well. St. Rita, we'll see you again. Winnebago, we will see you next year. We'll see you all next time.